Good morning. Welcome to the worship service of the First Unitarian Church of Hobart, where we strive to put love at the center of how we show up in the world. So, each week, during our Sunday morning worship service, we join together in affirming that the quest for truth is sacrament, service is its prayer, and this is our covenant. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Since not everyone can attend in person, we are streaming this worship service online, and we extend a special welcome to all of those who are joining us virtually. The joys and sorrows portions of our service, however, is private, and we will temporarily pause the stream for that. Other than that, this worship service is being recorded and will be available for future viewing on our website. This morning, our minister, Pastor Tom, will be leading a worship service to celebrate the winter solstice. Please turn off or silence or throw away your devices, and as you do so, allow yourself to enter sacred time together. And take a breath. And another, and join in the spirit of reverence. I invite you now to open a gray hymnal and join me in reading aloud responsive reading number 543 in the back of the hymnal. I will read the regular text, and I invite you to join me in reading the italics text. Are you guys ready? Let us not wish away the winter. It is a season to itself, not simply the way to spring.
The trees rest, growing no leaves,
Gathering no light,
and then the sky drapes themselves delicately against dawns and sunsets.
the clarity and brilliance of the winter sky delight. The loom of fog softens edges, lulls the eyes and ears of the quiet, awakens by risk the unquiet. A low dark sky can snow, emblem of individuality, liberty, and aggregate power. Snow invites a contemplation and to sport.
Winter is a table set with ice and starlight.
Winter dark tends to warm light, fire and candle. Winter cold to hugs and huddles. Winter want to gifts and sharing. Winter danger to visions, plans, and common endeavoring, and the zest of narrow escapes. Winter tedium to merrymaking.
Let us therefore praise winter, rich in beauty, challenge, and pregnant and negative.
Welcome, one and all, to this ritual of nourishment as we honor the winter solstice! That was yesterday. I open this gathering with the lighting of a chalice. The cup holds this community, and the flame is a spark of possibility, held in the circles of darkness and light, for we need both to live. Please join us in the lighting of our chalice by reading together the words on the screen and in the order of service. All right. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs, with light is the beginning of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of a life shared together.
Thank you, Heather. So we are a people who gathers not around creed, but around covenant, not around some set of beliefs with which we're supposed to agree, but rather about the agreements that we democratically make with one another. And so each week is an opportunity for us to come back into covenant, to just recognize the ways that we might have drifted off course, and to re-enter that agreement with each other. Always being mindful of, do these words still fit who we are today? Do we need to update them in some way? Do we need to make them something bigger for us to reach for, or something that's more accessible, or whatever fits the best? So I would invite you to join in this recovenanting. I'm going to read off a few bits of our covenant, and I would ask you to just respond with, may we forgive ourselves and each other and begin again in love. So for all the ways that we have neglected to expand our spiritual growth and faith in action, may we forgive ourselves and each other and begin again in love. For all the ways that we have not committed our hearts and minds to building a community of caring, acceptance, and reconciliation, may we forgive ourselves and each other and begin again in love. For all the ways that we have not actively worked to build trust and respect in our community, may we forgive ourselves and each other and begin again in love. So having re-entered a covenant with one another, even if you're just here for the first time, you just entered into a covenant process. You didn't even know you're going to do that. Certainly, I would invite folks to turn and greet each other, maybe wave, say hello to these beautiful folks that you entered into this covenant with. The folks on the other side of the camera who are joining us from home. And then open your gray hymnals to hymn 55, Arise in Body or Spirit, and join in singing Dark of Winter.
Please be seated.
as we pass through the days or weeks or years of our lives, there are things that happen to us. Things we read about in the news, things that go on in our own lives or the lives of those that we love. And there's an opportunity to not just hold that within ourselves, but to bring that to voice, to share that with others so that they can hold it with us. And so I'm going to come around with the mic and welcome any joys or sorrows that you have to share. And I would just ask that if you have a joy or a sorrow for us to hold together, that you would just say your name so that we know who you are. Does any of you have a joy or a sorrow? Yes.
I want to thank you all for
to rise now in body or spirit and join in singing our doxology. Please be seated. So last night in the Northern Hemisphere was the longest night of the year. And so this service is about abiding in the wonder and mystery of darkness. What was it like so many millennia ago, when the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer and often colder, and people did not understand why? Millennia ago, certainly, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, people had a sense. But when we go back 5,000 years, 10,000 years, were they afraid? Many stories suggest that they were. How would they survive? Would the animals and the plants upon which they depended for their survival die? In the early incarnation of our human species, I wonder what else they felt and what history they passed on to their children. What meaning did they make of the growing darkness? Did they gather around the fire and tell the stories of their people? Did they overhunt and overharvest for fear this was the beginning of the end? Did their spiritual leaders suggest they needed to make more offerings to the gods of their understanding, to implore them to bring back the sun? And then, what did they do when they realized the days were finally getting longer? Was there confusion? Was there relief? Or maybe even jubilation? When did the observers or the wise ones or the elders realize they could predict the cycle and know when to enact whatever rituals they believed would call back the light? It is, of course, also possible that they welcomed the growing darkness. Maybe they were glad to have a bit more downtime from hunting and gathering and instead settle into the gifts of the darkness: rest and reflection, connection and devotion. We can't know for sure. It's before history started being written. At this time of year, we often gather to tell stories, both ancient and new. We offer one another gifts, and we participate in rituals like this one as we arrive in winter, with hope to find our way towards spring. We don't need to rush out of the dark. The days are going to get longer, but only a little bit and a little bit. Many messages in our culture devalue the dark and teach us to fear. Our language often conveys that darkness is dangerous. Monsters are in the dark. Bad things happen in dark alleys. And yet so much relies on the dark. The gestation of new life, including our own, depends on darkness. Decomposition that nourishes the soil exists in the darkness. The practice of hibernation, or going within, that allows us to heal, to reintegrate, to recover so we are ready for what will come, also usually happens in the dark. Many of us sleep better when it is dark, whether or not it is nighttime. There is a sweetness, a vulnerability in gestation and decomposition and hibernation and restoration. Have you ever felt moved watching a loved one sleeping? And many of us say sweet dreams when someone is headed off to sleep. There may be danger in the dark, but there is also sweetness. And we often associate light with goodness, with the divine. The sun's warmth and light help plants to grow. Light helps many of us do our daily tasks, and yet too much light is exhausting, and it's even harmful when it goes on for too long. And for some species, it's harmful all the time. Both are true. And there is something joyful as the earth orbits the sun and birds begin to return and the days grow longer as we see new life growing. There is joy in the first crocus pushing through the snow. So we don't need to rush toward the light. We need both darkness and light to thrive. These cycles of life and death and rebirth are apparent in the seasons also. Last night and tonight, this darkest time of year, we can rest in the dark. What will we pass on to our children about the importance of light and darkness? How might we celebrate both together? Let's take just a quiet moment to slow down, to notice our breaths as they move in and out of us, and consider the ways that we can celebrate the light and the dark. We invite you now to listen to this beautiful song by Leah Morris called Honor the Dark. And once you kind of get a hang for the lyrics and the melody and so forth, they're fairly simple. We invite you to sing along to Jeremy as he goes through it.
Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Everybody. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only love remains. Honor the dark as you do the light. Receive the gifts that come to us by day and by night. I choose to honor the dark, uncertainty and change. Deliver us from fear until only l
Until only love remains. Now that we've gotten just past the winter solstice, we've journeyed into the darkness. And we now also celebrate the return of the sun. So I invite you now to consider quietly to yourself what you might need as nourishment for the journey. What might you need as nourishment for the journey? We are invited into this gathering today, a gathering of worth, a gathering where all are held, a gathering where we honor the dark and the light at this winter solstice time. for we need both darkness and light to survive. We also know that in many ways the darkness, the shadow is not valued. It is actually denigrated. Today we interrupt that false narrative and declare our appreciation of the dark and of the sweet time it allows for reflection, for renewal, and for nourishment. So as we kindle fires and candles around this time of year, we celebrate the light with joy too. So today we're going to offer one another a blessing of nourishment, a reminder of the nourishment that we get from both the light and the dark. So we've got some trays here with chocolate and oranges, and there's both some regular chocolate and some sugar-free chocolate if you can't do the sugared chocolate. So the sugar-free chocolate's in the white container, and the one with sugar is in the dark one. And so as they get passed around, wait, before we pass it out, I got to give some instructions. People got to know what they're going to do with it. So when you receive a tray, offer it to your neighbor. These folks are going to be bringing the trays around the room, but y'all are going to be passing the trays back and forth across. And so you're going to be passing. So you're going to pass the item to your neighbor. So like a piece of chocolate, a piece of citrus, and as you pass it, you can say, "May the darkness bring sweetness. May the light bring joy." So they'll pick up both a citrus and also a chocolate. And after your neighbor has taken them, you give them the tray, and then they offer it to the person sitting next to them. And so in that way, it's going to go around the whole sanctuary. And as you feel ready, you're invited to enjoy the sweetness after you've gotten it, after you've gotten the blessing. Yes, I have a question from somebody back there with
Are we taking one off the tray for ourselves and then passing the tray, or are we taking something off the tray and passing it?
The tray is being passed along, and so for instance, here I will demonstrate. So I have the tray, and I show this to you, and then you pick up one of those, beautiful, and then I say to you, "May the darkness bring sweetness, may the light bring joy," and then you take the tray, and then you take your piece from the tray, and then you say to her, "May the darkness bring sweetness, may the light bring joy," and then in that way it keeps on going around. Yes. So you all are passing the tray down the aisles. So wait, hold on. Barb, come on back. So when we did a run through before the service, apparently we needed to go into more detail with folks to get clarity on what exactly was going on. So we're doing a rehearsal with you all together right now. So at the end, we'll share all our blessings together, and it's my hope that you'll join me in saying, "May the darkness bring sweetness, may the light bring joy." So I'm hoping that you'll practice just repeating after me, "May the darkness bring sweetness." Beautiful, beautiful. So we're all going to hold this sacred space of our gathering. So we've had some revelry, some cheers, some laughter, some like, what's going on? But I'm hoping that we can also hold some sacredness in this space as we do this. And so as we attend to the passing and the receiving of these, really giving that blessing. May the darkness bring sweetness. May the light bring joy. And making space for other folks to also offer and receive that blessing as well. Okay, so now if you would pass out the, yes. Thank you. So has everybody received? You're welcome to wait for the blessing in just a moment, or if you already had it, that's totally fine. I already got one. So we've shared some blessings, and so together let's share the affirmation all as one. May the darkness bring sweetness. May the light bring joy. May they indeed. So feel free, if you haven't already, to throw this in your mouth. Enjoy for our next responsive reading. So there's going to be a responsive blessing, and it's printed in your order of service, and it's also hopefully going to be displayed on the screen. And it's fairly simple. There's a few lines, and I'm going to say a couple sentences, and you're just supposed to repeat back the second sentence to me. So if you want to open it up, it is on there. Great. So let us give thanks to the earth for these blessings of nourishment. Thank you, earth.
Thank you, earth.
Let us give thanks to the sun for these blessings of nourishment. Thank you, sun. Let us give thanks to the seed savers, farmers, harvesters, transporters, and grocers for these blessings of nourishment. Thank you, food providers. And we give thanks to the love that holds us all. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. Wonderful. Thank you all. And Barb has a few words to say as well. Come on up, Barb. Come on up. Yeah. Thank you for asking permission.
Hi, everybody. We choose to welcome the spirit of life and join in our aliveness and share our resources. This month, we are sharing our loose change, this week and next week, we are sharing our loose change for social change with the Minister's Discretions Fund. Do you want to say?
So the Minister's Discretionary Fund is a fund that specifically is there for congregants who are in need. So sometimes in pastoral conversations with congregants, some folks will say, hey, I'm really having difficulty making ends meet. I have X, Y, Z needs. And so the Minister's Discretionary Fund is there for resources for me to offer some material help in those circumstances.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. The money in the baskets will go to the mission of our congregation. The money in the cups will go to the Minister's Discretionary Fund. For those not here in person today, there's an online link for both one-time and regular donations. I need 4 volunteers to come forward to carry the baskets and cups. For your prayers, your presence, your service, and your gifts. We are truly grateful. Another way that we walk together is by joining together in fun and fellowship. As Grant mentioned earlier, tonight is the one-man show, Christmas Carol, is that what it's called? Christmas Carol. It starts at 6. Doors open at 5 for refreshments and a cash bar, which is beer and wine. I hope you all can make it. It's $25 at the door. And one other announcement. Faith in Action is partnering with Pastor Leah's Hobart Methodist Church for a lasagna baking blitz on Saturday, January 4th, to deliver lasagnas to families in Hobart in need. Please sign up to help assemble and bake and deliver to someone in Hobart. Let Michelle know. Michelle's back there. We could use a lot of help for that, gang. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful service. That's one I look forward to every year. Now please rise in body and spirit to join in singing hymn 1055, How Sweet the Darkness. Cheer. Please be seated. As you head off into the day, and especially as you experience tonight, go gently. Take time to notice the gifts in the darkness. We are so grateful for your presence and your participation. You are welcome to join us in our parish hall after the service to talk with one another and partake in more blessings, food, and the rest of the chocolate. That's why I was in such a hurry today, all that chocolate. When you're ready to head out into the wider world today, go with peace, go with anticipation, and go with blessings. A blessed winter solstice to you all. you. I invite you now to join me in reciting the words in the blue on the screen and help me extinguish the chalice. May we continue to carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, until we are together again. Thank you.
Please join us in the parish